Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Right.
Bad cookies, I am not showing my boobs. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Welcome to this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm Angel Rivera alongside Witchy Perfect, and Alex Knight will be on around 8 o'clock. And how you doing? Before we get to what we need to talk about.
Well, it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks because, I mean, next weekend we're busy. The next weekend after that we're busy. I mean, this says it all right here, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, real quick, the schedule tonight we're on normal. Next Saturday we got to preview WrestleMania both nights. So I don't know whether we're getting to clips or not. Probably not. Then the next Sunday, what?
The 12th I can't because the 12th I have family pictures, and the 13th we have my birthday bash show, and then I have a show to do after that at 6 p.m. So I can't do I can't do Pro Wrestling Talk next week, and then again the week after that is WrestleMania. So
that's gonna be a problem. We've got to preview WrestleMania unless we do it now.
We can do it now. I'm all for that.
All right, because I didn't realize that. I thought you meant like the 20th or something, which was WrestleMania weekend, anyways. But okay, that's fine. You know, we can do what we can now, and then we'll have to come back at the end of the month to review it. Because,
yeah, I'm really busy in April. April is like my birthday month. Plus, it's also I wanted family pictures of me and my son, and yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we can do it like that. We'll just preview what we have and then go from there. Where are we? Well, I mean, yeah, WrestleMania 41 is in 2 weeks. And 19th and the 20th. Let's see.
20th is my birthday, guys. So there will be a special bash that I'm going to record with the amazing with the amazing Angel. Of course, Alex will be there. We'll have Kit Cabello. We'll have Snow Himbo. We will have Deconstructing Topics. We're going to have a lot of people on. Hey, CBC.
Hey, CBC. Yeah. Yeah. So That'll be on the 13th, and I guess you'll upload that on your birthday, your
On my
channel.
birthday, yep.
Okay.
So Sunday, the April 20th, will be the birthday bash extravaganza because it's my birthday.
So, yeah. So I'm sure there'll be more matches added to the card, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to preview it next week, so we got to do it now. So whatever we miss, we'll discuss the 26th, I believe it is, which is the last Saturday of the month.
Yes.
Which is right after WrestleMania. So, yeah, 26th. So, let's see. So, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. There's 9 matches scheduled, and
Okay.
only 2 have been confirmed. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins will main event night 1, which is CM Punk's first main event, which they made a big deal out of.
Bro.
And night 2, we main evented by Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. The rest of the matches,
Cody Rhodes.
The rest of the matches have not been confirmed for either night, so they'll probably start confirming that next week.
What about Charlotte Flair and Tiffany?
Well, it's listed here, but it hasn't been
okay.
announced which night is going to be on yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, so Jade Cargill versus Naomi, which was a match they added on Friday, I believe, on SmackDown.
And that's because Jade needs to get her revenge on Naomi for taking her out. Like I said, I kind of commented to you that I think that, honestly, we are going to see that match because, again, I kind of figured the only one to really benefit from the whole getting Jade out of the way thing. And then, of course, we had the, drama, bitch drama. It's like, oh, God, come on, guys. Really? I did it for you. I was like, oh.
It was like when Steve Austin got run over and Rikishi's like, I did it for The Rock.
I did it for The Rock.
Yeah, it was like that. It was like, come on. They're just rehashing storylines from 20 years ago with less interesting characters. But yeah, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. We're doing predictions, I guess. So Jade Cargill, I think, is going to win. Because she has
to get that win back and get her revenge on Naomi for taking her out for a long time.
Yes, I don't need you.
Or something.
I'm sorry?
Didn't she put her through a car windshield?
Yeah. Which is why she was out for like 5 months. So the next match, they have announced Liv Morgan and Rodriguez for the tag team champions versus whoever wins the gauntlet match, which has not been announced yet. That happens on Raw, I think, tomorrow night. So
okay.
So the women's tag team title match.
I say they keep it.
Yeah,
I just don't see them taking it off of them.
They just won it, so yeah. So especially since they are completely behind Liv Morgan as a character. She got a women's title run for most of last year. She only dropped it in January. And she got now the tag title. So they're trying to, push her and make a big deal out of her. So she keeps those belts. And all right. Next match listed here is for a U.S. title match between LA Knight, the champion, versus Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. No.
Jacob's got to get this belt.
I'm really digging Jacob because he's just a beast anyway. And I just like what he said to Solo Sikoa a couple weeks ago. He's like, I'll win this belt with or without you. I really Jim Cornette was talking about this with Brian Last, and they were kind of saying, wouldn't it be kind of cool if Jacob became like the leader of the bloodline, and then that way, Sikoa could be under him. And then, Tama Tonga would just kind of follow anybody, right?
Yeah. And his brother, Tonga Loa, is coming back too from injury. So it'd be interesting that dynamic between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, whether Sikoa would even follow him. So that'd be interesting dynamic throughout after WrestleMania.
Sikoa's kind of been irrelevant since he lost to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, ever since that feud ended, he's been kind of in the background. And Jacob is clearly taking control of the group, so...
And man, look at Braun Strowman. Oh my gosh. Totally have escalated him,
Yeah, he's... Jacob's now beaten him twice in last man standing matches, so... I don't know how they're going to go with that. So I think Jacob gets the belt, and I don't know what they're gonna do with LA Knight after WrestleMania. So
Maybe he also might go in the background and kind of disappear. I don't know.
he might end up on Raw wrestling Jey Uso for the world title. That'd be
That
my
could be.
guess.
That could be.
Because Gunther probably, if Cody retains, he'll probably move on to face Cody and feud with Cody over the WWE Championship. That's if Cody retains. But all right, let's get to the next match listed here is AJ Styles versus Logan Paul.
I hope AJ kills him. I hate Logan Paul with a passion. Look, Logan Paul, stick to YouTube. You'll survive a lot better.
Well, yeah, I get the feeling that Logan Paul's gonna win this match because it's based off they're probably gonna
Hey, a woman can dream, can't she?
Yeah, and AJ is probably is closer to retirement, so he's already talked about retirement, so he might be putting people over at this point of his career, but putting over Logan Paul, some YouTuber, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't do that if I'm a legend like that.
No, I wouldn't
But
either.
yeah, but whatever, he's probably gonna put him over and be the company guy here. But yeah, I think Logan ultimately win this match, even though I don't want him to. I mean, Logan's gonna win this match. I don't want him to, but that's probably what ended up happening. All right, the next match listed here is Io Sky, the champion, defending against Bianca Belair. Now, right now, this match is listed as a singles match, but we all know it's going to end up being a triple threat
It's
match
gonna
with
be
Rhea Ripley.
with Rhea Ripley because you
Yeah.
can't leave Rhea out.
Yeah, we all know it's going
So much a part of this, and I don't even know how Io Sky got. They're like, oh well, she's the best wrestler. I guess people were saying that, and Brian Lance was like, yeah, no.
Especially with that controversial finish last week of the women's title match where Bianca Belair just threw it out by disqualification.
Right.
So we all know that she's going to end up being thrown in this match. So let's say a triple threat match for the women's world title.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like, to me at least, we haven't really been on much last month, but it seems like to me that Triple H forgot about Io Sky until like 3 weeks before WrestleMania. And he's like, oh shit, Io Sky, I got to get her on the card somehow. I mean, I like this girl. I know, put the world title on Io Sky and beat Rhea Ripley clean in the middle of the ring right after she wins this fucking belt from Liv Morgan and into that feud. It was like, what? Like, really? And it's like taking a square peg and trying to stick it in a round hole. It's not going to work. Yep. So they forced Io Sky into this match when the money match was Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Mm-hmm. Now they stick Io Sky in here. I don't know who, and it's not going to be the same match. It's just different.
It's going to be a shittier match, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I can't. I don't like Io Sky. I think if you like that kind of Japanese girl wrestling or like schoolgirl wrestling, fine. But I'm not for that. I like Rhea Ripley because she's doing good things and the crowd is behind her. I just don't see not Jane Cargill, Belair. I can't see Belair. Just I don't know. I'm picking Rhea Ripley at this point. Because I would like to see her get the belt back.
She has to get this belt back. Unless they have some sort of plans for her on SmackDown, but after WrestleMania, but she got to get this belt back because if Io Sky retains, what's the point? I mean, it was just like she was just women's champion last year at WrestleMania when she lost it to Bayley, and now it just here you can retain this fucking belt even though you're probably the worst wrestler out of the three, arguably.
Yeah.
Oops. I don't know why I went to my screensaver. Whatever. All right, so I predict that I would like Rhea to win, but ultimately I think Triple H is going to keep it on Io because for some reason he likes her so much.
Well, we'll see. I'm really pulling for Rhea Ripley. So come on, Rhea.
Yep. So next match that is listed here, we got Gunther, the world champion, versus Jey Uso.
I'm going to go with Jey Uso because I think you're right. I think they want to he's been in the business for 14, 15 years and nothing. I mean, he just finally got the IC belt and then they escalated him to Gunther, but he's nowhere in Gunther, he's nowhere in his league. But did you see what happened on was it Raw? Yeah, what happened on Raw? Where he just kind of put the blood all over him. I'm like, ooh, I hope you got no diseases, yo.
Yeah, that was designed. It looked like they kind of stole that from a Mid-South angle. where they have the baby face tied up and the heel beats up either his father or his brother or family member and busts him all wide open. That's what it
And then
reminded me
like
of.
put his blood all over you. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm not all into that, but I was like, all right, whatever.
it
I
was
mean,
like an
but
old.
Gunther had to send a message, right?
Yeah, it was like an old Mid South angle, from the territory days. It reminded me of. It's like because this feud between Gunther and Jey Uso was cold for weeks, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden it's like, oh shit, we gotta do something to heat this up. This is the Royal Rumble winner going for the world title, so let's have the champion beat up, heel champion beat up his brother and him tied up and not be able to do anything about it.
Right.
And bust him wide open and beat the crap out of him and put him to choke him out, whatever. Let's get more heat on Gunther and let's make Jay look more sympathetic. Like 3 weeks
Right.
before WrestleMania, even though they forgot about this match too. Honestly, it seems like
Well,
because I
yeah, because
forgot
it was
about this
Jimmy
match.
versus Gunther, and
Hmm.
and everyone remembers that Jimmy is the one who slapped Gunther, and Gunther just kind of laughed it off, like whatever. And then of course he's gonna, tie with those zip ties. I mean,
Hmm.
he was really trying to get that zip tie off. I mean, he was
Yeah,
really pulling, and that zip tie was not giving way.
the only way he could have gotten out of that is being cut out, and he didn't have like knife or something on him. So eventually, after the camera was cut to Michael Cole, he said, "Oh, they finally cut him out." It's like, yeah, why didn't the security do that 5 minutes ago? I mean, they were
Yeah, I
standing
mean,
the
where
whole
were they
time.
5, 10 minutes ago
Yeah, that
before
didn't make any
Gunther,
sense.
went like this with the blood? I was
Yeah,
like, ugh.
that didn't make any sense logically because logically you would think that okay, you got to cut him out as soon as he gets on there, but that's why security shouldn't have been out there to begin with. That way, logically, it would have made more sense. But whatever. All right, so I
Like
think
someone could
Jey
have slipped
Uso,
him a scissors or something,
yeah,
or a
Jey
knife.
Uso is gonna get this belt, and he's gonna have shitty matches for the next 3 or 4 months until he drops it at SummerSlam. Hear me now, quote me later, because he's not
Later,
keeping
yeah.
this belt past SummerSlam. I'd be shocked if he does.
I concur because I would be shocked if Gunther retained.
Yeah, I would be shocked too if he retains. Even I wouldn't have a problem with it, but we'll come back in 2 weeks and like, oh wow, Triple H kept the belt on Gunther because if Jey Uso doesn't get this belt, he's already failed to be world champion. What 3 times? He
Yeah.
got beaten by Roman Reigns 3 times for the world title. So
Wow.
it's like he gets beat again. Are these fans going to continue being behind him as a babyface? I don't know. I mean, maybe they
Yeah,
will,
you might
but
as well just kill him as a babyface and just make him a
yeah,
heel at that point.
yeah, because or sticking back with his brother as a tag team again, because that'd be the only way because at that point he's the top babyface, he's
Yeah.
dead. That's why he has to get this belt, even if it's for a few months. All right, so the final match, or at least not the final match, but next one listed here is Tiffany Stratton, the champion, defending against Charlotte Flair for the women's title or the women's championship, whatever.
Okay,
Look,
so
did
go ahead.
did you see that horrible segment they had on Friday?
Yes.
Oh, that was terrible.
But
I
I
don't.
had to look up something because I just, for my own knowledge, I had to know. Because Tiffany Stratton said, "Well, what were you doing at 25?" I was like, not watching wrestling. And then I looked up how old Charlotte Flair is. Charlotte Flair is 15 days older than I am. She was born April 5th, 1986. I'm like, you bitch. So I
So
looked it up.
she's
I was like, oh
38.
shit, happy birthday.
Yeah, she's 38. So or 39 now,
She's
actually.
39 now. Yep.
So yeah, that was. I don't know whose fault that was. Whether that was Charlotte's fault. I mean, fault. Excuse me. And I don't know. It was her fault or Tiffany's fault or both of them. I can't explain it because
It just seemed
Charlotte can.
unnatural. But what
Yeah.
is with the Nepo baby? What the hell is a Nepo baby anyway?
Uh,
People keep
um.
calling the second generations and third generations Nepo babies. Well, like they can help it. They just wanted to be in the wrestling
Yeah.
business like their fathers.
Hmm.
I don't think that's a bad thing. But Tiffany Stratton's like, and these other people too. Drew McIntyre's another one.
Yeah.
Randy Orton is third generation, and Cody is second, and of course Charlotte Flair is second. So I'm kind of confused. Like, what's the big deal? They're second and third generations. Are you jealous of that? Because they really couldn't help it that their fathers were in the business.
Well, they're accusing him of nepotism, basically. The only reason why they got their spot was because who their father
Oh.
are, with like Cody and with Charlotte and with Randy,
Well,
so
if that were true, then Joe would still be in wrestling, right? He'd be
yeah.
champion.
Mm-hmm.
So that don't quite work out there, guys. Just to throw that in there. But
Technically, you can accuse Roman of being a nepo baby too. His
yeah,
father is
he's second
Sika.
generation.
His
The
father
only
is Sika,
one,
so
yeah, Jacob Fatu, second generation.
mm-hmm.
All the guys in the bloodline.
Yeah,
Tamatanga, second generation.
yeah. So
Sokola's not, I don't think.
no,
But
he's
Jimmy and Jay Uso are second generation.
no, they all are. Sokoa is too. I mean, his father is Rikishi, the youngest son.
Oh, get out, right?
Yeah, that's Rikishi's youngest son. So yeah, he's technically a nepo baby too. You want to throw him in there.
Okay. Well,
So
there you
let's
go. He had 3 sons, and now they're all in wrestling, right?
Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair have no chemistry whatsoever. These promos are getting more and more brutal by the week to watch before this match.
Yeah, I was kind of like, why is she bringing up the fact that
Mm.
Charlotte Flair's not 25?
What were you doing
And
at
she
25? You were playing volleyball and drinking in your father's basement. How does she know that? I mean, the
Yeah, how
part
do
about
you know
drinking in her
that?
father's basement is like my mom said the same thing too. Then how does she know that? It's like I don't know. She probably made that up, or somebody fed her that line backstage. I don't know. Because she's so young that the producer had to feed her lines basically because she's like 25 only.
That's crazy that she literally, we're 38 now, she's
Yeah,
25. We were like 13, 14 years old when she was born. That's pretty sad. And so was
yeah,
Charlotte Flair. I mean, Charlotte Flair was, 14 when she was born.
and then
And I also found out something else really quick. I found out that I'm a month and 8 days older than Seth Rollins. I'm like, it said May 28th, 1986. I went, you bitch. How am I older than Seth Rollins? God damn it.
yeah, we're all around that same age, but yeah, that promo on Friday was awful. I mean, I'm not sure. Charlotte seemed to get rattled by the fans in Chicago for some reason. And
Mhm.
you can see how rattled she got, even though she's been in WWE over 10 years and she still can't control a crowd, and get them to boo her or do whatever she needs them to do.
Yeah, she just calls them out. She's just like, "What are you doing?" Where were they on SmackDown? I forgot. Chicago,
Chicago,
right?
yeah,
She's like,
Chicago.
"Chicago," like acting like their mom.
Yeah, it's like that was an awkward way to try to get the crowd to do what she needed them to do, which was boo her. She's a heel, but it was just awkward and just like she's like,
It was. It was like
yeah,
her first time out there, and I'm like, "You're
yeah.
39 years old, bitch. Just act like it."
And then Tiffany, I don't know whether this was planned or not, as she just threw it out there. Started talking about Charlotte Flair's appearance in that daytime talk show. I assume you've heard this or seen this at least, right?
Mm-mm.
She appeared on a daytime talk show, I think earlier in the week, basically doing the "woe is me, I'm a victim" type thing.
Oh,
because she was married 3 times and been now divorced 3 times, and she talks about how her husband's either abused her or cheated on her, and that makes her a victim, and she's just standing up for women everywhere when I tell my story, so that whole nonsense.
well, to be honest, her father was married 5 times and divorced 5 times.
Yeah,
So I see the apple hasn't fallen far
yeah,
from the tree.
that's another thing she was like upset about. It's like I don't want people to think I'm my dad. I mean that
Then
may
don't act like him. Stop marrying
basically
assholes.
basically she's throwing her dad under the bus. Like, hey, I mean those women had the right to divorce my dad, but those guys abused me and cheated on me. That she was trying to make herself like baby face it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I mean my father was an asshole, yeah, but I'm not. I'm just a poor victim. And Tiffany brought that up in her promo. Like you were whining on a talk show recently
Are you gonna
about
say
your.
"Woo?" I was
Uh,
like, oh God. Please
that was
don't bring
brutal
Rick into
too.
this.
That was brutal too, and I'm not sure whether somebody fed Tiffany that line or she just came out, went into business for herself. I don't know because I don't think Charlotte told her, oh yeah, it's okay, you can say that, even though she was serious about those lines, on that show, and it's unless again, there's a lot of ambiguity about that. I think I butchered that word, but I think you understand what I'm trying to
Ambiguity.
say. Yeah, ambiguity. about that. We don't know whether Tiffany went to business for herself or Charlotte said, "Oh yeah, you should probably use my appearance in that show against me to bring more interest in our match." That could be one or the other, but it was the way Tiffany did it was so awkward and so stagey and so rehearsed that it didn't work. It didn't work because it just came off as phony. It's like Charlotte either doesn't give a shit or she's phoning in her performances. And
Yeah.
Tiffany's way too young to be in that spot. Obviously, she's being exposed every week there before her title match. So Charlotte's gonna get this belt, but because
Well, and you know what's funny is we haven't heard from the refrigerator for over a couple months. I think since she lost that to Tiffy, we haven't seen Nia Jax around.
She had one more match.
Also, second generation, I think, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the cousin of The Rock, so she's also a part of that family too. So
what happened to Nia Jax? Where is Nia Jax? Anyone seen Nia Jax lately?
She had if you remember, she had a match at Elimination Chamber against Tiffany and Trish Stratus, a tag team match. She lost and she's been gone ever since. I forgot about her. I guess she's taking a break or she's on vacation and coming back after WrestleMania or something. But yeah, so I forgot about her until you mentioned her. She had a match Elimination Chamber in Toronto.
Well, I just thought about that when I was watching that segment going, "Ew, where's Nia Jax when you need her?" And I don't like Nia Jax.
Hey, Max.
Hey,
Yeah,
Max.
I mean, she did this match this feud is very awkward and it's just not good. And Charlotte, the only face Charlotte seems to be able to make now is it's just like that odd like.
Yeah, can I just say no offense to her, Charlotte Flair, but it looks like she's had some work done, some plastic surgery, and they pulled her face way too tight. And she can just make this face.
All she can do is this when she makes her. She can't do like a normal person like that, or be able to move your face, to convey emotion. The only emotion she can convey is the sarcastic smile. She can barely do that without. It's
only 7:28. Yeah.
Yeah, so my mouse isn't working. Whatever, but yeah, I mean that's the whole promo, the whole segment was awkward. And at the end, Charlotte was like, "Hey," and when Tiffany left, like, "Hey, Tiffany, you're Luke. Why is Kaiser in my DMs?" Referring to Luke with Kaiser, who's her boyfriend in real life. So.
Oh, wait. Time out. Go backwards. Wait, Tiffany Stratton and Kaiser are a thing?
Yeah.
Get out.
Which is what Charlotte was referencing at the end. Like, why is Kaiser in my DMs, Tiffany? She ignored her, but yeah, that was the end of that segment, right?
I didn't know they were an item. That's why I was kind of like, why did she say that? Because I guess I didn't know that Tiffany and Kaiser were a thing.
Yeah.
They were an item. Wow. Okay. Yeah, now it makes more sense.
Yeah. And that's why she said that at the end, but it was thrown in so awkwardly and so, it's like, what the hell was that? I mean, it wasn't like CM Punk Drew McIntyre promo where it felt natural and it felt those two guys really hated each other. And it felt like, they were ready to kill each other at the pay-per-views. No, it was just awkwardly done and awkwardly thrown there for no reason. So it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. So I think Charlotte's going to get this belt because they're trying to get her past 16 because he's a 13-time champion or 14-time champion. Her dad is 16-time champion. So they're probably going to get her to tie or pass her dad. So she has to get now 2 or 3 more.
Well, there's 3 people that want to pass her dad. There's John Cena. I forgot who else. There. Someone said they were at Randy Orton. Randy Orton said he was at 15 or something.
Yeah,
or
14, 15.
And he was, so kindly talking to Cody about, I'm not gonna kick you in the balls. I'm just gonna look you right in your face and say, I want number 15. So then you also have Charlotte Flair, who's going after what, 14?
She's either 13 or 14. That was always the plan for her, even when she first started, to pass her father, or to tie her father at least. So this is like 10 years ago when she first debuted in the company.
I can't believe that bitch is 15 years older than or 15 days older than I am. What the fuck?
Yeah. So the the night one main event is of course the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins match for
Right.
nothing. It's just a
And
feud.
how did I? We finally found out what the favor is. Angel, you want to take it?
Yeah.
What is the favor?
Well, let's go back to the week before last week where they did the contract signing,
Right.
and Roman Reigns thought that everybody assumed, and he assumed the favor was getting him into the main event.
Right.
Which is why when CM Punk was flipping through the contract, Roman Reigns was like, "It's already there, what you're looking for," and he keeps flipping through it. Paragraph 9.
I honestly teared up in that segment. I literally teared up in that segment. I'm like,
Oops,
damn it, Punk,
sorry.
stop this.
Yeah.
CM Punk is growing on me. I can't help
Yeah.
it. I literally just watched the segment with him and Reigns, and we finally figure out the favor with my man. He didn't even get to see it.
Roman was like, a wise man, smarten him up, tell him where he's at, and then Paul Heyman cut the promo like, it's in there what you're looking for. CM, you are basically you are a WrestleMania main eventer, CM Punk, and everybody. Paul Heyman was crying. CM Punk had tears in his eyes. Paul Heyman kissed him, and hugged him. All the work you've done, it's become worth it now because you are finally a WrestleMania main eventer. Then, which is what he always wanted. Even when he first debuted in 2006 in WWE, that's all he worked for, and Vince never gave him that last spot. And hell, he's a WWE champion.
Right.
And he had a match with Jericho. He's a champion. He didn't main event that show either. He went on like the middle of the card.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the night where Rock and Cena main evented, the first match they had at WrestleMania, if I remember correctly. So he wasn't going to be on top of Dwayne. So it was like, that's why I always like kind of had a hatred for The Rock because he kept usurping his spot.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, now this week we finally get to what the favor is. Oh no, because at the end of the segment the week before, CM Punk looked at Roman Reigns as like, oh no, but that's not the favor.
That's like, not what? The favor that you owe me. And Paul Heyman goes, what?
He's like, what?
What do you mean that's not it?
Roman Reigns was shocked.
And what's the favor?
Like, like, what's the favor? He's like,
yeah, no offense to Seth Rollins. Go fuck yourself, dude. I mean, I don't like Seth Rollins. I think he looks like a fucking cheerleader in the wrong outfit.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
You don't deserve it. Wipe those tears off your eyes. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. I'm like, dude, you're going to be in the main event too. So why are you complaining? You might not like you and CM Punk have heat from 15 years ago or whatever, but you're going to be in the main event too. So I don't know why you're complaining so much about it. But yeah, we get to this week on SmackDown, I'm about to say Raw, which finally the favor is revealed. Because at the beginning, because I think Paul Heyman came out first to discuss it, and he's like,
right. Everybody loves Paul Heyman now. He's that baby face because he's Punk's best friend.
Yeah.
Right. And all I kept thinking during the segment was, well, Roman Reigns, first of all, Roman Reigns, pick either a baby face or a heel. You can't be both. You can't be both. But then also it's like it's almost like Roman Reigns has never had a best friend. Like you've never owed a best friend a favor. Is that right, Roman Reigns?
Yeah, he was upset about because he was fine with it because he assumed the favor was Punk main eventing WrestleMania. So it's like, okay, we'll just do that for him. You're squared away with Paul and Punk. We're good. Let's move on. Once he realized that wasn't the favor, that's when Roman kind of started turning on the idea of Paul, having, doing this favor altogether. But eventually, Paul Heyman.
I like when Paul came out. So you had CM Punk, and CM Punk tells the story of when I was born, I shouldn't be here because when I was born, I was blue and I had the cord wrapped around my neck, and they had to bring him back to life. He talked about that, because they were in Chicago. He's from Chicago, So then he talked about, all his life, the people were saying, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. And it was Paul Heyman who stopped him from being fired. And of course they chanted ECW, ECW. I went,
so
stop that.
When they
Paul Heyman's never
When
going to
they
get that
first
stink off of
hired
him.
Punk, they hired an indie guy that had some sort of notoriety or a name. They hired CM Punk because he had a name and notoriety, but they quickly realized or WWE, the brass, Vince or Laurinaitis or Bruce Pritchard, whoever at the time, was like, yeah, he's not a WWE guy. So I think it was Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis kept calling Paul because he was running Ohio Valley Wrestling at the time for them. He kept calling Paul and is like, "You got to fire CM Punk." He's like, "I'm not firing him. That's your job. You fire
I'm
him."
not firing him.
It's like, no,
Yeah.
you fire. They kept, for some reason, they kept, Laurinaitis refused to fire him directly. He wanted to have Heyman do it. And Heyman kept like, it's your job. You fire him. I'm not going to fire him. And then finally he started getting over in Ohio Valley Wrestling, and they were like, fuck, we got to use this guy. So they were just restarting ECW in 2006, 2007. So they, okay, call him up for that ECW shit. It doesn't matter. He won't get over. He got over. And he kept getting over. And he's like, god damn it, I got to put the belt on him now. Like Vince was like, he didn't want to put the belt on Punk. He had no interest in doing that. So yeah, that's the story behind that. And Paul Heyman was always like a mentor, a protector of Punk.
His best friend. That's what
he had his
they
back.
said.
Yeah, for years.
I just like when Paul said, "God damn it, Punk, you deserve to be here, or you should be here," or something like that. I was like, "Whoa!" He said, "God damn it!" Mm-hmm. They didn't bleep it. They didn't, hit out the, they didn't mute it out. Well, at least not on YouTube.
Yeah. David, I saw CM Punk's CCW debut. I was there at the Manhattan Center. I was Twisted. That was my guy. You were there. You were there at the Punk's debut. That's cool. Yeah, so
Punk is growing on me. Okay, I'll say that much. Punk is definitely growing on me.
So yeah, eventually they go to the back. The segment ends. Paul Heyman's waiting for Roman Reigns the entire night, and at the at the parking lot. Fucking Byron Saxton, the interviewer, kept interrupting him. Is like, "You again? Like, what do you want?" They're like, "Well, where's Roman?" Like, I don't know where he's at. Okay, he's on his way. So eventually, we think it's Seth Rollins. I mean, we think it's we think it's Roman Reigns showing up, but Seth Rollins showed up first and did his stupid laugh and made Finn and walked away from Paul Heyman. So
God, that dude's annoying. I'm like, Seth Rollins, don't you ever just get tired of being you? I mean, what? Becky Lynch is your wife. CM Punk's married to AJ, and then Roman's he's married to somebody else. I don't think she has anything to do with wrestling or ever has. Was it Roman Reigns? I looked up. I don't think it was Roman Reigns. I think it was Punk. Isn't Punk's birthday October 26th?
I don't know.
I'd have to look that up again, but that's so funny because my son's is the 27th.
Wow. Yeah, so I don't know. So eventually Roman Reigns shows up and he walks right past Paul Heyman. Like, Paul tries saying something to him and just gone. It seemed like he was pissed off by the whole thing, and Paul's desperately trying to follow him. Oh, no, I forgot a part. The first time they went to the parking lot, Paul Heyman took the mic from the interviewer and it's like, whatever the favor is, the answer is yes. So he's like, you already pre-agreed to whatever Punk wanted.
Oh, no. No wonder that happened at the end.
Yeah, I forgot about that part to mention that. Then eventually when Roman shows up, he ignores Paul. They start walking straight out to the ring. That was the fastest entrance of Roman Reigns' career.
I know.
You see how fast he got to the ring? I mean, it was like, there was no milking. There was no fireworks. They
want to know who. I mean, we finally get to know what the, so we're going to milk it, but we're not going to milk it. We milked it because, I'll tell Roman Reigns when he gets here face to face what the favor is. Because, it had to do with Roman Reigns once you know what the favor is.
Paul didn't want Roman Reigns there because he had a feeling that Roman wouldn't like the favor. So it's like, okay, tell me now. It's like, no, I wait for Roman to get here. Okay,
I'll look him eye to eye, face to face.
And eventually Roman is like, okay, he does his whole acknowledge me deal. The fans chant OTC or whatever. He cuts his promo. he demands that Punk comes out, and instead, for some reason, Seth Rollins comes out,
Yeah.
and they have a whole back and forth.
All I kept saying was, really, Seth Rollins? You do know that we don't want to hear the favor from you because you don't know it.
Yeah. I guess he was out there because he's part of the match, so it's like, okay, let's just throw him out there and have Roman and him cut promos back and forth on each other. Then eventually CM Punk comes out,
Finally.
which was the main guy there because he's in Chicago. They blow the roof off every time they hear his Cult of Personality song. So he comes into the ring eventually. Him and Roman have their face off, and Punk's basically, long story short, he's like, the favor is I'm going to put you out of your comfort zone, Roman. We're going to put you out of your comfort zone because he's used to having Paul Heyman with him for all these years. So now it's like Paul Heyman's going to accompany me to ringside at WrestleMania.
And literally, as soon as Seth Rollins starts laughing, I said, "Shut up, Rollins. This doesn't include you. So why are you laughing?" So when Reigns starts laughing, I'm like, "Oh wow!" Because you could just see the look on Paul Heyman's face, like, "Shit, I got to do this. I already said I would, right?
Yeah.
I already promised."
Roman laughed.
Roman laughed, and he's like
seriously?
Just let this idiot down really easy, and he's like, no, I can't do that. And he refuses to talk. So Paul Heyman starts crying. And Reigns is like, crying? Are you crying?
Wipe those tears and tell him no. Come on.
No. Tell this fool no. And then he's like, he still refuses to say anything. Then, of course, go ahead.
And then eventually he's like, no, and that's when Roman realized it. And
yeah, he's like, I'll give you one more chance. Tell this fool no. He's like, I can't do that, my tribal chief.
Eventually, he corners him in the corner and kind of grabs him like this.
And you can hear Paul say, I promised him. I promised him I would do this. And everyone's like, what? He told him what?
And then that's when CM Punk finally attacked him.
Haven't they?
Yeah, they've been together since the pandemic when Roman first turned heel in 2020.
So there you go. They have been teasing this for a while that Heyman was probably going to turn. We just didn't know how or why or when.
5 years they've been together. So now it seems like this is the end of CM Punk, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, because there's no way Roman is going to forgive him.
Right, and I think Punk saw Reigns starting to corner Paul Heyman.
That's when
and then he was just like, attacked him, and then
behind,
and you could hear Heyman go, "No!"
You see
now, Heyman, which side are you on? You're on this side. You're on this side. Which is it?
The reason why, and again, you have to go back over 10 years for this context on why Paul Heyman was crying and why CM Punk. They both were emotional. Right before CM Punk left, Paul Heyman and Punk were in the ring cutting a promo. And Paul Heyman said, one day, very soon, you're going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, and I'm going to accompany you to the ring and be in your corner. That was 10 years ago, right before Punk left WWE the first time. Right. Paul Heyman said very soon, which turned out to be 10 years later. But yeah, nobody knew he was leaving. So, but yeah, that's the context behind that and why that was an important moment for both of them,
I mean, what a shocker. What a shocker. But then we already knew that was going to happen someday because Paul said one day soon you're going to be main eventing and I'm going to be in your corner. So where does that leave Roman Reigns? I guess I don't know.
That leaves him kind of in a position where he has to come out by himself at WrestleMania 41 in a couple of weeks. So it's already been announced that Paul Heyman's going to be on Raw tomorrow night, and he's going to explain what happened, explain himself, and why he couldn't, why he's joining Punk,
And Raw goes back to normal time, right? Please say yes, because I'm tired of the Europe shit.
Yeah,
it comes out at like 3:00, and I have shit to do. So
the European tour ended on Friday because they were in Chicago Friday.
Yeah.
So the whole year, that was like 3 weeks of Raw and SmackDowns in Europe in a row. So actually the Netflix times that were 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they were difficult to watch.
Enough.
Yeah. That was
But
difficult to watch.
well, the other thing is that Jim Cornette and Brian Last were saying how they're just so sick of those chanting and the singing and okay, enough with that in the crowd. But the crowd was doing that even in Chicago. They were singing to Roman Reigns. They were singing to CM Punk. They were chanting CM Punk. They were chanting for Rollins and singing Rollins. I mean, that's not going to end. And just because it was in Europe doesn't mean it can't happen here in the States.
I don't like that either. I mean, it's annoying, but whatever. These fans are. I don't think they're into the wrestlers and they're into the angles, but at the same time, I think it's more like, hey, let's get ourselves over and sing everybody's songs and stuff. That's what it seems like, trying to get themselves over too. Some of these audiences. So.
Well, and that's the funny part because literally, Brian was like, I long for an AEW crowd silence, I was like, this ain't AEW. All these guys are over, they can't help it.
I was so yeah. Who's gonna win this match? Give me a prediction. I don't know. It's so much in the air.
I would like to say Punk. I would like to see Punk win it, and then maybe go on to maybe Cody, maybe Jey Uso.
Yeah, I mean, you would assume that if Punk wins, he would probably go after a world title after WrestleMania, because that'd be the next logical step. If he beats both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, then that'd be the logical step. Him going for a world title, either Cody or Jey Uso. But
do you think they are turning Punk heel at that point?
I don't know how they would do that. He's so over.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a babyface versus babyface match. Him and Cody Rhodes.
If I'm a booker and I'm told by my boss, oh yeah, turn CM Punk heels, like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? The only way I could do it is probably
he is so beloved at this point.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, let's, I don't know, have him beat up his wife. I don't know. It's the only way I could think him to turn him.
Well, and that was funny when he said that. Like, my she's gonna be mad about this. Why would a wife be mad that people are chanting her name? That's a weird wife right there. I was like, if that were me, I'd be like, holy shit, they're my God, they're chanting my name because my husband's out in the ring, whatever.
So yeah, I would probably lean towards CM Punk winning this match and them going for a world title after WrestleMania. But I don't think Seth is gonna win. I think he almost has no chance in winning this match. And there'd be Woody and Roman. I mean, unless he's going after a world title again, I don't see him winning either. So it's like, it has to be CM Punk at this point.
When I think people don't want to see Reigns and Cody round 2, or round 3 or 4.
It'd be round 3.
Yeah, I think we're tired of that. I think we want to see like CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. We want to see
new matches.
Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
Here's if Roman were an egotistical top guy, he would demand his win back from Cody. Like Hogan. Hogan would demand wins back from guys he put over. So but Roman doesn't seem to be that way. He's not like that egotistical, like top legend guy that would demand wins back. So it's like,
well, and I could see like maybe a match between, like, maybe Seth Rollins screws Roman Reigns, and then it's Roman versus just Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that's what this WrestleMania match should have been. Roman and Seth 1-on-1, so they can finally settle the differences on what happened with the Shield almost 15 years ago at this point. So
why they stuck Punk in there? I have unless that's the favor,
That's the only way, that's because they had nothing for Punk at Mania either. So it was kind of like either Punk goes for a world title, win the Royal Rumble, or you stick him in that match with Seth and Roman, because their history between those three guys. So because the history between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, real quick, is the Shield. The Shield was CM Punk's idea. He approached Vince with it, and Vince did it and liked it. However, the initial Shield was supposed to be Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, or AKA John Moxley, and a wrestler named Cassius Ohno, AKA Chris Hero, who were 3 indie guys that were Punk's friends. So
okay.
But Triple H took it and kind of edited it and took out Cassius Ohno and put Roman Reigns in it.
Okay.
Which is what CM Punk didn't like, and him and Roman Reigns got off to a bad start. He didn't like Roman Reigns. because he didn't think Roman Reigns was ready. And
Mhm.
honestly, at 2013, he wasn't really ready. It was more like, but he looked like he was a star. So Triple
Right.
H is like, okay, let's just stick him in the Shield with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who are good workers.
Right.
I know. Moxley today is not a good worker. At the time, he was actually decent. So, which is why everybody assumed that he was a good worker, which he was in WWE.
Yeah.
Then going to AEW, he's like, he went back to his indie mindset and now has horrible matches every night, but or
Yeah.
every week. But yeah,
So
that's just history.
I'm pulling for Punk at this point. All right, who's next?
The final match, we only got like 10 or 15 minutes before Alex sticks on. So the final match or night 2 main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship.
Oh boy. You were saying how John Cena may take it and then give it back, and oh, I've seen the error of my ways. I mean, I've been saying this for weeks, and I really, really believe it. But John Cena's promos are like, what a bitch. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I mean, even when he was out there and Cody Rhodes was like, I mean, he's just like, oh, he might as well have done that. That would have been more relevant than this. Well, I just blame the fans. You're just a nepo baby, and the fans
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah.
And I love how Cody was like, you know what they never chanted to me? You can't wrestle. Because
You know what?
John Cena cannot wrestle.
When I was going to these
So I
shows
never
in
liked
in my local towns, because there were like 2 or 3 arenas locally. When I was going to these shows 15 years ago, I'd be one of the guys chanting "You can't wrestle" at him. So I know exactly what Cody like. Oh yeah, I know what I know where you're going with that. So you can't wrestle, you can't wrestle. So yeah, so yeah, so the last promo for Monday Night Cena cut was probably his best since turning heel, but it still was like, eh,
They're still like,
eh,
what a bitch. That's what I
yeah,
kept thinking at the whole time during that promo. I was like, what a bitch. And then,
yeah,
he tries to, hit Cody Rhodes, and, Cody Rhodes gives him the crossroads or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, and then
Reason
he's just
lame.
like dead, he's just like
Eh,
selling it like death.
he's selling like death, yeah, and which is fine. That's Cody's finish, but it was kind of like, that was his best promo, but it still wasn't good. It was still okay. But the one part that I did like is Cena referencing AEW when he said, well, I mean, I make money for billionaires. You just take money from their kids.
From their billionaire sons or kids,
Yeah, or from their
billionaires
kid,
kids.
from the billionaires' kids, and referencing Tony Khan and AEW. So that
Yeah,
I was
but
like, oh,
well, I mean, yes and no. He actually helped founded and
yeah, he
made
did.
AEW what it was, and then when he left, just spiraling all the way down. I think D can
Mhm.
attest to that because I'm
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, wow is all I can say to that, because I mean, I just like the whole, oh well, your father, he's not here, and I went. Did you see the thing between him and Punk? I think
Mm-hmm.
this was in London or something, where they actually had a kid come into the ring, and then like
Mm-hmm.
Punk hoists Cody Rhodes, or no, Cody Rhodes hoists Punk on his shoulders, and I was like, my God, it's like love at first sight,
Yeah. But
No,
I
they were
saw
just
that.
good
Yeah.
friends, so.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only part I kind of like popped at. Like, oh, he brought up Tony Khan and AEW.
I like the crossroads, and then Cena's just like this,
Uh,
Um, I'm picking Cody Rhodes. I don't think we're done with Cody Rhodes yet. I think there's still CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, because how they were friends there, and they'll reference that over and over again in the highlights, all the packages that they do on these
yeah.
guys. And they'll say, "Oh, you guys were great friends. Look what you did in London. You let a little boy come into the ring." And like I said, I think Dusty, wherever he is, he's very, very proud of Cody Rhodes at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like his dad all over again. And
So,
I saw a little bit of, I think Cody was on, he was like talking to, was he talking to Stephanie or something, in an interview or in like some kind of thing, and it was like, this was years ago, and she's like, do you feel him here? He's like, no, I really don't, but I have. Like he felt his dad, there in the arena with him. And I went, my God, that's what Joe used to say about Kurt.
Yeah, he said he felt him at WrestleMania 39 before his entrance, but at 40 he didn't. And he thinks the reason why is because because he thought he knew his dad knew that he was ready, so he didn't need him there anymore.
Well, that could be.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like Dusty all over again. He can talk him into the building, and I say Cody Rhodes takes it. Maybe Cena gets it. I don't know. But I also saw some things really quick. I saw some things like Ric Flair is talking about, oh, well, Cena's not going to get 16 as long as I'm around. Or 17.
Oh, yeah, 17. I saw that. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to come back and do what?
You're going to come back and what? Stop him?
You're 76
years old, dumbass.
Yeah, so I'm torn. Like Cody, by the time WrestleMania rolls around, he's going to be champion for a full calendar year because he won it at last year's WrestleMania. And usually he's still over. It's not like the fans are getting tired of him.
Yeah, they are not getting tired of him. No, everyone is Cody. And he is so over right now. He's more over than he was back in the day.
Yeah, so they could probably push his run another year, possibly, and get him to next year's WrestleMania.
I just don't see Cena winning. I just don't.
So, look, if Cena wins, then they're definitely thinking, okay, well, let's get the belt off Cody and have him chase it again. Even that, you would usually do that when the champion is kind of waning. He's not getting the reactions he did when the reign first started. So take the belts off of him and have him chase it again for 6 months before getting it back on him. That was the cycle Dusty went through when he was booking. He was champion for like 6 months to a year. Then he would drop it back to Flair. He was champion for a couple of years and he would drop it back to Dusty. They were going back and forth like that. So,
but they had some really great matches too. Him and Flair.
Yeah, that's why. And I was like, when Dusty was booking, Flair was the champion most of the time. Like, it wasn't really even Dusty. And it was like, but Flair, when Flair books, he's always the champion. So it's like you can tell who's more selfish there.
Yeah.
Because when Flair got the book, he was the champion immediately. So in WCW. So.
Well, and I just, like I said, Cena may want 17. I just. This would be the time to do it. If Cena does win, I would be shocked because, excuse me, Cody is still so over. I just don't see number 17, at least at WrestleMania.
What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody, let's migrate over to Rumble. So go to Rumble, and we'll see you YouTube. We'll see you on Rumble, or we'll see you next, actually in 3 weeks.
No, but it's going to be the 26th because you can't do the show next week.
Yeah, no,
at
I
all.
can't.
And just for programming update, even though we did at the beginning of the show, this week is probably our last show until the 26th for WrestleMania review. We had to preview it tonight, but I didn't, because either you told me probably, but I didn't realize it. So that you couldn't come on, you couldn't do the show at all next week. So we had to preview WrestleMania what we could. I'm sure they're going to add. We totally forgot to mention the Kevin Owens Randy Orton thing. Shit.
Oh, well, I think
can we do that real quick? I mean, it'll take a couple minutes. So
take a couple minutes. I say Randy Orton because he needs that win back after Owens put him in that devastating.
Yeah, but you didn't see the segment on SmackDown where they announced Kevin Owens having neck surgery?
No.
Yeah.
He's having neck surgery. So he's not having that match. So he can't have the match because he's having neck surgery. So
you're the one who watches wrestling and not me. You didn't find that out.
Well, no, because they didn't have it in the highlights. I only watched the highlights, which was Tiffany Stratton and then the whole Punk revealed his favor.
So, yeah, Kevin Owens has a broken neck, so Randy doesn't have a match at WrestleMania. And Nick Aldis announced this.
Like a year, right?
Yeah, if he has neck surgery, he'll probably be gone for a year minimum. But, eventually Randy Orton would RKO Nick Aldis.
I thought it was funny. Kevin Owens injuring wrestlers. I know it's not a real injury, but injuring the wrestlers with the pile driver, and then he has the neck injury.
Yeah, he has
there's
the
an
neck
irony
injury.
there. There's definitely an irony there, which
That is
is
irony
not
right
lost
there.
on me. But yeah, I mean, now who's Randy going to face at WrestleMania? There's to me 3 possibilities, real quick. One is Aleister Black. He's coming in WWE soon. They're already
the House
having
of Black.
teaser. Yeah, you know him as Malachi Black, but in WWE he's Aleister Black. The other one is Rusev, aka Miro, because he signed WWE too, so he's coming back soon. And the other one is Nick Aldis coming out of retirement to wrestle Randy Orton.
Or Cope.
Cope.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cope.
the reason why I say Nick Aldis is because this is the second time Randy's RKO'd him in the last year and a half. So,
well, there goes that. Well, I'll watch it after this, and I'll be like, God dang it!
Randy's gonna have. Yeah, Randy was gonna get the win probably because he needed to get his revenge for what Kevin did to him. But now that
I was gonna say, yeah, I picked Randy Orton, but
yeah, now that Kevin Owens is having neck surgery. He's having neck surgery, probably be out for a year. That match is out the window, and by the time he gets back, probably be a big baby face. So that whole feud is pointless because you can't go back to that match. Oh, yeah, remember when you power drive me a year ago, motherfucker? Now let's have a match. It's like Kevin's gonna be a baby face when he returns.
Yeah, they literally would forget about that.
Yeah,
they'll forget about the whole fact that he literally put him in this pile driver. Oh, and by the way, I need neck surgery, so I have to go away for a year. Yeah, they're definitely gonna forget about that.
One of the funniest moments when Kevin Owens was face, he was like, no, we're not gonna do this. It should have been you. It should have been me, but it wasn't. Just get over it.
Yeah. So those are my 3 guesses of who's opponent going to be, because there is no way Randy Orton's not having a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can't leave Randy off.
Yeah, you're not going to leave Randy off that card. Now, it'd be interesting to see Nick Aldis come out of retirement to have a match again.
Maybe he gets added to the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins match.
Yeah, we talked about that.
That's gonna be too convoluted, and Randy has no history.
There's no title match in that triple threat, right?
No.
So what's the point of that match?
Personal history, hating each other. We talked about it. Just a few minutes ago. But
I think CM Punk takes it because again, he has most to gain because he has to look good at WrestleMania anyway because he's the first time main eventing it. So I say Punk takes it, but I just don't see Randy Orton going into a 4-way because he really doesn't have history. He does with some of them, but not with Punk.
If he's not going to have a match with Aldis or Black or Rusev, you could maybe throw him.
Well, they did say Rusev was coming back, or someone told me Rusev.
WWE re-signed him.
Maybe Brock Lesnar comes back.
Oh God, no!
I don't know.
Please, Goddess, Almighty Goddess, please no.
The only other thing that makes sense is throwing him to the WWE Championship match because he has history of both Cena and Cody.
Braun Strowman, maybe. Braun Strowman.
I don't know how you would have set up that story in 2 weeks, but.
I was gonna say I would rather see Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman again, but they're getting tired of that too. I think. Yeah,
we're getting a U.S. title match between Fatu and LA Knight, which LA Knight's obviously gonna drop this belt. There's no way he's gonna defeat Jacob Fatu clean. So, all right, so we're gonna go over to the other platforms now because I forgot to mention that completely. So hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you for the show on the 26th as we're going to review both nights at WrestleMania. So chances are there's not going to be any clip show because that's going to take us forever to review both nights. So
yeah, because we'll have a lot to say about what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So this will
So we
probably
don't
be.
see you on Rumble, YouTube. We'll see you on the 26th. Everybody have a great Easter, great weekend. And remember, it's my birthday on April 20th. So if you can stop by, my links are in the description field.
Yeah, make
Stop
sure.
by and give me a happy birthday
I
there.
thought you told me it was the 13th. Or I thought you told us it was the 13th.
It is the 13th, but she's uploading on the 20th.
The episode,
her birthday.
Yeah. But my birthday is on the 20th.
Mhm. So yeah, thank you. I wrote it on my calendar, so I remember to actually do
You
it.
write it on your calendar, little brother. Or do not forget, 3 p.m. my time.
I'm not gonna forget.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's 12 o'clock your time.
You said it was 3 Eastern.
3
Yeah.
Eastern.